Welcome to Raising the Bar Sports Picks, where we give picks and analysis on some of our favorite games, and at the same time, we have ice cold beverage. Today is Monday, February 17th, 2020. Last week we had a successful week. We were plus 22 units. Yes, Friday was a horrible day. Nothing went right. So as far as picks are concerned, Friday was the worst day that we could have last week by far. It was coming off an undefeated day. We were high on it, right? But at the end of it, when you total everything out, we're still on the plus side of money. And that's what we want to do. Every single week, we want to make sure we have money in our pockets, and that's our goal, right? So I mentioned that we're going to have a drink, and today's drink is Too Juicy. Now, I know it sounds like something like from Tropic Thunder, right? Booty sweat, booty sweat. But this is called Too Juicy. So like on Rick James would be like, too juicy. I don't know. But this is a New England style IPA. It's by Two Roads Brewing Company. It has 8.2 alcohol by volume, percent alcohol by volume. And in the description, their website will be there, so you can tag on it, click on it. And also, if you want to skip all this, all the beer tasting and pick analysis, as always, you go right to the description. And there's going to be a tag there, a time tag, where you can just click on it and go right to today's picks. If you're in a hurry or you just think I'm boring, you don't want to hear my voice, that's okay. Some people like it, some people don't. It's not for everybody. I mean, maybe my voice appalls you and you just want to throw up. That's all good. But we're going to do it anyway, do the show every day. Boom. Now the point of this show is actually to give everyone my analysis, because I'm an expert, right? No, I'm not an expert. But I do like to bet, and I do like to look at the numbers and look at the lines and so on and so forth. So I feel like I'm successful at what I do, and I want to share that. So that's what these videos are for. And I like to drink. So, and we're at my bar. So, you know, that's pretty much the gist of the show. So here goes for a happy Monday. Hopefully this week we're turning some bills, right? It's a little bit on the sour side. I definitely taste like grapefruit in there. And with these IPAs, you got a lot of fruit. So I taste obviously orange, some citrus, tangerine. It's definitely like a softer type of drink. But you know, it's a little bit on the sour side. It's not bad at all. I mean, it's definitely a good drink. So. And this is a limited make, so I don't know how hard it is to get. I got some, so hopefully you could get some too. All right, going on. What's most important is the picks. And it's Monday, right after the NBA All-Star game, so we don't have any NBA going on right now. But we do have some college. And in the college, we don't have that many games on there either. We actually have some pretty shitty games, but doing some research, doing some diving, I feel like I got a couple best available, and that's what we're going to go with. So our first game, we're going to, a 6:30 game is Xavier versus St. John's. Xavier versus St. John's. The Musketeers versus the Red Storm. And that game is set up for 6:30. Looking at the matchup, Xavier against the spread, 9-15-1. St. John's 13-9-2. Straight up, Xavier 16-9, and St. John's 14-11. My computer works the way I wanted to. I'm going to use the mouse. All right. At home, St. John's record is 11-5. Xavier's away record is 6-6. Against the spread, St. John's record is 9-5-1, and Xavier's record is 6-6. So listening to those numbers, you would think that St. John's is actually favored, right? But they're not. At this point right now, the point spread right now is 1 and a hook, 1.5, right? And the reason why we're going to go and we're going to be on the side of Xavier as far as money line is because St. John's is out of it. And we're up against the tournament right now. And these teams are going to play better than expected. St. John's, yeah, they're pretty good. These are actually almost identical teams. I feel at this point of the season, Xavier has to come in and they have to win. They have to win in order to get a spot in the tournament. They're just coming off of a heartbreaking loss against Butler. Xavier is 61-66. St. John's actually coming off a convincing win versus Providence. At this point, Xavier is going to have to redeem themselves. Before that, Xavier was on a 3-game winning streak. Against Seton Hall, a good school. DePaul, a good school. Providence, a good school. They were winning. So at this point, Xavier has to win. Take them, money line, and that's our first pick. And while I'm writing, if you could just smash that like button, share it. We are on Facebook now. Share it on Facebook. Share it with whoever you can. And we will share all these picks, right? We'll share the show. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for money like other handicappers are. I'm not asking for anything. All I'm asking is for a share, a like, and a subscribe. When you do subscribe, make sure you hit that bell button so that when I do come out with another show, you get notified. A lot of people are subscribing, but they're not hitting the bell, and they keep saying, oh, I'm not getting a reminder that your show's coming out. Well, that's because you never hit that bell. You got to make sure you hit that bell. That pick is a 2-unit. All right, moving on to our next pick. 7 o'clock, we're looking at North Carolina versus Notre Dame. North Carolina Tar Heels versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame is favored right now by 3.5. By 3.5. North Carolina 9-16 against the spread. Notre Dame 12-11-2. Straight up against the number. North Carolina 10-15. Notre Dame 15-10. The over/under for the two teams: North Carolina 10-14-1. Notre Dame 12-13. The home record for Notre Dame is 12-3. 12-3. North Carolina's away record is 5-7. 5-7. Their overall record is horrible too. I mean, their home record is 5-8. North Carolina is. Against the spread, 3-10. Away, 6-6. They're right now on a 5-game losing streak. North Carolina is horrible. They are horrible. But Notre Dame is not that much greater. They're coming off of a 2-game losing streak. Before that, they actually won 4 against Clemson, Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech, and Wake Forest. But when you look at the numbers, they're pretty similar. You have Notre Dame 42.4 for field goal percentage, 41.4 for North Carolina. The free throw percentage is 73.9 for Notre Dame and 65.5% for North Carolina. With our pick, we're going with Notre Dame. money line. That's the second pick. There's also a 2 unit. Now our units go from 1 to 5, 1 meaning I like it, I don't love it, and 5 is a deadlock, right? There's not gonna be any deadlocks today, especially because what we have to work with, these games, Xavier, that's probably our headline game. We have the Notre Dame game. These games are not big games. There's a big game today that we're not gonna bet on, which is Kansas, because we're not gonna make any money on that game. So moving on. 8:30 p.m., this is probably my best game tonight. I like this game the best. It's 8:30 tonight, Grambling State versus Texas Southern. 8:30 tonight, Grambling State versus Texas Southern. Now, looking at this game, and doing the numbers, Grambling State at this point, or Texas Southern, they're favored to win 70%. By 70%, their chances to win are 70% tonight on this game. They are favored by 5.5 right now. Against the spread, Texas Southern 9, 12, and 1, 11 and 13 straight up, over under 10 and 12. Grambling State 5.5 with the 5.5 line, right? Against the spread 9, 11 and 1 straight up, 13 and 12, and the over under 9 and 12. But then we look at the numbers. You start breaking down the numbers. They are pretty similar, but look at this. Offensively, the field goal percentage, 45% for Grambling, 40% for Texas Southern. The field goal percentage is similar. The 3-point percentage is similar. But we look at the record. Look at these numbers, okay? Texas Southern, their home record is 7-1. The away record for Grambling State is 5-10. But listen, against the spread, Texas Southern 2, 4, and 1, and away against the spread for Grambling, they're 7-8. Doing my own line, so I gave you the implied win percentage, which is 70%, 70.1%, the implied win percentage for what the book is coming out with. But my win percentage is actually Grambling State to win 51%. And that's looking at their rating, their field goal percentage, their 3-point percentage, and going on a line, their rebounds. And I have them to cover. Grambling State, Grambling to cover. So that's our next pick. Grambling to cover. And that's plus 5.5. I'm making that a 3 unit. Not too many more picks. Nine o'clock, going to Jackson State versus Prairie View A&M. Jackson State versus Prairie View A&M. Prairie View A&M Panthers, they are favored by 8. They're favored by 8. Against the spread, 13-8 Prairie View is. 13-11 straight up, and 8-13 the over-under. Jackson State, 11-12 straight up, 9-15, and 10-13 for the over-under. Prairie View is undefeated at home. They're 5-11, they're home against the spread, they're 3-3. And away, Jackson State is 8-8. Prairie View is good. They're a good team. They have a little bit of trouble of covering, and that's okay. But they're up against the tournament, and they're going against a lousy team, Jackson State. They are a lousy team. They average 66.8 points a game. And Prairie View only gives up 68. Right now the line is 8-8, and we're going to pick Prairie View A&M to cover those points. So we're laying 8 points for Prairie View. And that's a 2 unit. And our last NCAA game for today is 10 o'clock, Idaho versus Portland State. Idaho versus Portland State Vikings. Looking at the matchup, Portland State Vikings are favored by 11 at this point. Against the spread, Portland State 13-11, straight up 12-14, and the over-under 16-8. They actually cover the overs. Idaho 12-10 against the spread, 7-17 straight up, and the over and under 10-12. The away record for Idaho is 3-9. Portland State at home 7-3. Against the spread, though, Portland State they're 3-5, and away 8-4. Now looking at this game, the implied win percentage for Portland State is actually 87.01. Idaho is only 16.8. My numbers, after doing my own winning percentage and what I feel is the actual win percentage, Idaho has a 42% chance to win this game, and Portland State is at 57. There's too many points in this game, and I feel like they are trying to trick you by flooding Portland State with so many points. There's no way that Portland should be favored by 11. Looking at their numbers, the offensive field goal percentage are almost dead even, 44%. One's 42. Actually, Idaho is slightly better, 44.3. Portland State, 44.2. The offensive field goal percentage is 66.4 for Idaho, 70.7 for Portland. Their offensive field goal percentage for 3 points, right, is 33.5 for Idaho. Portland State, 72.7. Where are they coming up with this number, right? So you put these numbers in and you do the calculation, you do the formula that you come up with. And my formula comes up with the fact that this is going to be a lot closer game than the books are trying to show you. So we're going to go with plus 11. We're going to take those points for Idaho. And that is a 2 unit. Well, plus those 11, plus 11. Okay? We're done with NCAA. So we have 5 picks. I feel good about those picks, but anything could happen, right? We had a Friday. Friday was horrible. We have 2 picks, and with NHL right now, there's not a lot of games right now today. So, so we have a light day with everything. So trying to pick the best available. At 4 o'clock, we have Anaheim versus Calgary. With this game, we're going to take the over 5.5, 5 in the hook for total points, mainly because both these teams are lousy, but they do score points. So we're going to take the over this game, and it's 5.5. That's a 1 unit. And one last pick. before we go. Let's go with Tampa Bay and Colorado at 9 o'clock tonight. I'm going to belch, and I'm going to be very relaxed on the show because I'm going to be myself. So if you don't like it, I understand. We're going with Tampa Bay. Colorado has the better odds at this point. No, actually, Tampa Bay Lightning, they're favored by $1.15. But we're going to go with Tampa Bay Lightning. When I first looked at it, Tampa Bay was actually the underdog. But I guess the line moved, and that means the money is actually being moved to Tampa Bay, which is all right. It's still $1.15 at this point. So I would snatch this up. Tampa Bay Lightning is the better team all the way around. And they are on a tear through the NHL. They woke up. So I'm going to keep betting Tampa Bay Lightning at this point whenever I see them, and especially when they're going against Colorado Avalanche. So that's our last pick for today. And that's with the win. A 2-unit. So those are our picks. You called me, I was drinking. Those are our picks for today. And I really hope you enjoy the show. I hope you win some money off these picks today. Hopefully we don't lose a lot, but we do win. Please like, share, and subscribe to this page. Share it with someone. Tell somebody about it. If you want to crack on me, you crack on me, whatever it may be, but you're still talking about it. So bad publicity is good publicity, right? It's all right. We now have a Facebook page. So if you go to the Facebook page, we're also going to post this there. One day we're going to have hoodies or whatever kind of giveaways we're going to give. The show is actually getting better and better. If you're watching the show for the first time, it was a lot worse. But every single time we come out, it gets better. I'm all new at this, but we're going to be winning money together and having a good time together. So at this time, if you would like, share, subscribe, make sure you go to tworoadbrewing.com, visit their website, check out their goods, check out where they are. They're based out of Connecticut. Maybe you can go there on a day trip, have some drinks. Make sure you come by tomorrow. We're gonna have some good picks. Thanks for stopping by the bar.